The nature of regulatory compliance is that the target is always moving. New laws, new regulations are published on a regular basis. As part of Edgile's ArC solution, we provide quarterly updates for those new laws and regulations. Edgile's regulatory change management solution can help organizations ingest those new laws and regulations to make sure that you maintain compliance as the regulatory landscape changes. Walking you through an example of what regulatory change management can look like within ServiceNow, we're going to perform what we would call a regulatory change campaign. As part of a regulatory change management campaign, an organization can select which law or regulation they would like to onboard. In this instance, we have PCI DSS 4.0, which will be released later in 2020. This is a key regulation for our organization, and we would like to onboard it. So we will be changing the treatment from no change to add. We've now selected this to be ingested into our ArC content library. We have the ability to see all laws and regulations that are available to our organization that we have previously evaluated. We're able to keep this memory of which laws and regulations you've evaluated so that when you start a new regulatory change management campaign, you're able to focus your attention on those that are new. Now that we have selected that we want to add PCI DSS 4.0 to our content library, we'll be publishing these changes. When we do, a few things will happen. First of all, the state of this campaign will change from step 1, source selection, to step 2, update guidance. Secondly, all the citations for PCI DSS 4.0 and the authority document records will be created in ServiceNow IRM. The third thing that's going to happen here is it's going to generate guidance review tasks. Each impacted control objective based on these selected laws and regulations generates a guidance review task. These will be reviewed to determine whether the changes to the laws and regulations in our library require us to change our baseline control. In PCI 4.0, we know that there's a change to an encrypt everything model, whereby all data in transit that is considered PCI data, including data within an internal private network, must be encrypted. Looking at a guidance review task as part of a regulatory change management campaign in ServiceNow, we're able to determine whether we need to make changes to our baseline control and baseline test procedures. This may be necessary based on new laws and regulations we've decided to onboard into our automated regulatory compliance library. The example we're looking at here is around protection of data during transmission. We know that as part of PCI DSS 4.0 that there are changes coming to this particular requirement. Namely, all data in transit must be encrypted when it is considered PCI data. Based on that, we know that we need to make a change to our baseline control. I've gone ahead and drafted this in advance, so I'm going to provide that change in this box. Similarly, we have a baseline test procedure down below that outlines how we would go about confirming that this control is in place. Given the changes in regulations, we have to update this baseline test procedure as well. Down below, we have a box here for material change. This allows us to indicate that we made a substantive change to our baseline control and baseline test procedure. Additionally, we can have our control owners begin a review of their controls immediately. This may be necessary if the changes to the laws and regulations are already in full force and effect, and we want to avoid any compliance gaps. When we publish our changes with this material change and with the box checked to require immediate control reviews, tasks will be created to our control owners, letting them know that they need to evaluate what they're doing as it relates to protection of data in transit.